Hey guys, this is Shauna P Talks, and I want to speak a little bit about Ashley Elkins. She's a 30-year-old mom of two boys. She's from Detroit, Michigan. She went missing on January 2nd. Her ex-boyfriend booked a hair appointment with her because she does braids, locks, but when he booked the appointment, he pretty much booked himself under a fake name. And when he showed up to Ashley's residence, she seen him, but she didn't let him in. That kind of alarmed her because they broke up back in September of last year. And a couple of days later, she came up missing. So you guys, let's get into these news reports, and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Here we go.
Worry about my kids. And, I see this all the time on TV. Rappers will never imagine it be me.
It's an urgent plea tonight from a Metro Detroit mother after her daughter disappeared last week. Right now, investigators are descending on the apartment complex where Ashley Elkins' phone pinged on the day her family reported her missing. All right, it's a very active scene right now in Roseville. The courtyard outside the home of Elkins' ex-boyfriend is now taped off by police.
This is breaking news right now. Family members say 30-year-old Ashley Elkins left her home in Warren. That was Thursday morning to run some errands. Well, since then, she's not made contact with her family or police. Shante Passmore arrived on the scene less than 10 minutes ago. And as you can see, it is an active scene going on. Shante, you talked to Ashley's family today. What can you tell us?
Absolutely. I'll have more on that in just a moment. But as you just said, I got here within the past 10-15 minutes. Of course, as you just mentioned, this is an area of question because this is where the missing woman's ex-boyfriend reportedly lives. And on scene, we've seen what looks like Roseville PD here, as well as State Police Crime Lab. We're trying to get and understanding some answers as to what is happening here. But this evening, we are learning so much about Ashley Elkins. She's a mother of two, a successful hairstylist who's also about to start a new job just yesterday, and families say there is no way she would leave all of that behind.
Tonight, where is Ashley Elkins?
This is what we're going to start putting up around the area.
Her family is spending the new year searching for the mom of two.
I have to do this. I just can't sit there and just and wait.
Authorities say the timeline of her disappearance started January 2nd, when families saw her leaving her house in Warren around 8:30 a.m. Elkins' mother arrives to her daughter's home about 10 minutes later.
Around 9:06, you text her.
Yes.
How soon did she respond to that text?
I want to say maybe 2-3 minutes.
And then you tried to FaceTime her.
Police say her last known location, according to her phone, her ex-boyfriend's home on Pinehurst Street in Roseville. To keep the missing 30-year-old woman's story alive, her family posts videos online while spreading flyers.
I just can't find her. It's really it's hurting.
I lost programming. As for the investigation, Warren Police tells me it's working very closely with Roseville PD. The missing mom was last seen driving a gray Chevy Malibu 2009-2010 with no license plates. But of course, we're going to continue to monitor this very active scene this evening. Reporting live in Roseville tonight, Shante Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shante, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, so you might not have this information, but I'm wondering, did you see them take anything out of the apartment? Was there any kind of situation like that? Are you seeing, folks coming in and out? I know you're far away, but I'm just curious.
No, that's an excellent question, Karen. So far, what we've seen, this is very preliminary, meaning we're in the early stages of whatever's about to take place here throughout the evening. So it looks like they're just getting started, really.
Okay. Obviously, different agencies could be responding as well. We'll keep close tabs on you and let us know if anything else breaks. We'll check back in. Appreciate it, Shante.
MAURICEMORTON.
And what is your title and how are you handling the situation?
Spokesperson for the family and uncle.
Okay.
And who are we here with? We have mom and other family members?
We have the family. We have mom, sister, grandmother, auntie, cousins. We have a lot of family here.
What's the update tonight?
We did meet with Roseville and Warren Police Department tonight, a little after 7:30. We met with Chief Berlin and we met with multiple deputy chiefs, and they gave us an update on what was found yesterday. What they indicated was there was substantial evidence collected at the home of the ex-boyfriend. They also indicated that based upon that evidence, that Ashley was murdered. They don't have her body at this time. They do have good leads on where her body is. They also indicated to us that the boyfriend is in custody right now on related charges, not for murder at this time. A warrant is being prepared, but he will be arraigned in the morning at Roseville District Court at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Family has been saying since Friday that they suspected this man. Speak on behalf of them. What are they feeling? What are they thinking now?
You know, as we said before, there was a lot of frustration by the family. We felt that things could have gone faster. But we do know that since Monday, the police have worked hard. We're thankful to get to, the point of getting some information. It's not the information we would want naturally. But at this point, it's about justice, because there was a monster out there that took a very beautiful young lady away from us. And if you heard the tears coming from and her children tonight, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Now, as far as where Ashley may be, what are police indicating to you?
We don't have that information at this time. They have a strong suspicion of where she may be.
The boys, 10, 7 years old,
Yes.
won't have a mom anymore.
No, they won't.
What happens next for them?
It's going to take a lot of family. Everyone here is going to take the love and support of the family. They do have their father. They have grandparents. Everyone's going to embrace them and support them. That's actually starting now. The healing starts now. Grieving is a process. It's different for everyone. We know ultimately we'll have to go through a court process to make sure that justice is done. But we know it's going to be tough, but it's going to take the family coming together and the community supporting us.
A lot of people have asked, were there signs? Was there something that this man did? I know there were some allegations possibly of stalking and maybe abuse. Can you talk to us about what signs were there?
Yeah, I honestly, we don't know, right? They had broken up in September. We know that Ashley didn't want anything to do with him. So, I can't get in the mind of a psychotic person, someone who would do something like this. So we really don't know what motivated him and why he did what he did.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything that you want us to know before we go?
We want to thank the community again. We know that the community they've reached out to us, they've been supportive. We just continue to ask for their love and support. But also at this time, we ask for privacy as well. That's why we want to do this now. But respect the family's privacy, and over these next, few days and months, it'll be pretty tough. Okay?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Attorney on behalf of DeAndre Booker. Mr. Booker, state your name for the court, please. DeAndre Booker.
And thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Steve Fox on behalf of the people.
All right, and Detective Lesperance, can you please go to the table next to Mr. Kane? Mr. Booker, did you talk to Mr. Kane today?
Yes.
Did he go over your rights with you?
Yes.
Did you understand all of those rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions regarding your rights?
No.
All right, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for purposes of arraignment. With regard to bond, we'll start with Mr. Kane.
Your Honor, Mr. Booker is 32 years old. He's in custody on this charge. He states he is not employed. He lives at the same address. He also states he's not on probation or parole. I'd recommend a reasonable bond in this matter.
All right, and Mr. Fox.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Obviously, we're here on a 4-year felony for lying to a peace officer on a violent crime investigation. This is, of course, as Your Honor is aware, involving Ms. Elkins. And the court is to consider MCR 6.106F and MCL 765.6, a number of factors. I'm going to hit on a few if you don't mind. The first is the protection of the public. The underlying matter, although not the charge specifically, but the underlying matter obviously involves a crime of violence, potentially. We are still seeking Ms. Elkins. The defendant, we suspect and believe, may know where she is. And a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet. So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public, specifically if she were still alive, and that's what we're all hoping for, of course. The other is the defendant's risk of non-appearance and the likelihood of conviction. Likelihood of conviction, Judge, the defendant made several material factual misstatements to Detective Lesperance and recited those to the court during the course of the initial swear-to. The defendant was aware that we were investigating a missing persons report. He was aware that there was some belief of his involvement. He made misstatements about both his location as well as Ms. Elkins and how she may have left his vehicle, left his apartment complex, all of which we can demonstrate by objective evidence and video evidence to be false. So there's a high likelihood of conviction on these cases, on these matters. And then last and most importantly for the court's consideration, I think at this point, is the probability or improbability of returning for trial. We have a history that includes charges at least. We do not have the disposition, but we did recover a DD-214 from his time in the U.S. Army. It looks like in 2016 he was charged with a couple of matters, including larceny of private property and, more importantly, fraudulent ID documents. And then in 2017 he was charged with desertion, or the absence without leave, going AWOL from the Army. Ultimately, he was discharged less than honorably, although it was not a dishonorable discharge. He was discharged from the Army in a less than honorable means or manner. We know that after the conversations, before the conversations with Detective Lesperance, but we believe after the underlying events of this case, he fled from Macomb County, went to Flint, where he was apprehended and brought back to Roseville. And we know that during that time, while he was in Flint, he accessed the internet to search for such things as fastest routes from Flint to Ohio, what to do on the run, is blood traceable, how to beat a polygraph, and deleting Google history. So, Judge, I think by his own words and search history, by his prior conduct, and by what is frankly at stake in this particular matter, he's of significant risk of flight. With that, I would request a significant bond. I'm asking for a $500,000 cash surety bond, no 10%, and that a steel cuff GPS tether be attached should he make that bond.
All right, Mr. King, anything further from you?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Detective Lesperance, is there anything you wish to add?
No, ma'am. Not this time.
All right. As Mr. Fox indicated, there are many things the court has to look to with regard to setting bond and determining bond. This court looks most closely at the risk of harm to the public and the likelihood of the defendant's appearance in court. I will note for the record that this matter is currently charged as a 4-year felony. I will also note for the matter that while Mr. Fox did point out several instances from the defendant's time in the military with regard to any sort of matters that came up with regard to larceny or desertion, that there is no other criminal history presented. But that being said, the matter being investigated does involve a missing person, which is a very serious matter. And the court takes very seriously that the allegations being made are that the defendant is lying to a police officer regarding material facts about a missing person at this time. That gives the court great concern about the risk of harm to the public and the likelihood that the defendant will make sure that he appears in court for both this matter and any potential further charges that may be brought by the prosecution. At this time, the court is going to assess a bond in the amount of $250,000 cash surety, steel cuff tether prior to any release. The PCC date in this matter will be January 22nd, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. on Zoom in front of Judge Bodecker. The exam date will be January 29th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in person in front of Judge Bodecker. I have referred the matter to the Office of the Public Defender for appointment of counsel at this time. If the defendant does retain counsel, that counsel can send in a substitution of attorney. Is there anything further from any party?
I apologize, Judge. Just one clear. You indicate steel cuff tether. That is with G, that's correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further from the people, Judge.
Anything further, Mr. King? Okay, you guys are all set today. Have a good day.
Tonight, the community is coming together to mourn a worn mother at the center of a heartbreaking murder investigation. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Rudolph Snyder. Ashley Elkins was last seen on January 2nd. Police suspect foul play. For days, crews combed through a Macomb County landfill hoping to find some trace of her, to no avail. So far, no one is charged in Elkins' death, but investigators searched the home of her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker, in connection to this case. He is currently locked up on charges of lying to police. This evening, loved ones gathering for a vigil to lift up Ashley's memory. 7 News Detroit reporter Tierra Braddock was there speaking to family as they grapple with this tragedy.
So many people came out Saturday night to honor Ashley Elkins, the Warren mother who went missing earlier this month.
Justice for Ashley! We love you! We love you!
Right now, with everybody here, it shows everybody cares. You know, when I thought nobody cared at all, I see that everybody cares now.
Ashley's mother, Monica Elkins, was surrounded by hundreds of people on Saturday as they gathered to celebrate the life of her daughter.
She was just a good person. I mean, everybody goes through things in life, you know, but she still was a good person.
Ashley's vigil was held near the Hampton Court Apartments in Roseville. That's where her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker, lived. Police suspect he may have something to do with her disappearance, and he has since been charged with lying to a police officer.
I know this is where her soul left her. And so I think it's the right thing to do is be here where she last was.
Police have not been able to find Ashley's body. When investigators were executing a search warrant at her ex-boyfriend's apartment, they took a dumpster into evidence. Then they spent a week searching the Pine Tree Acres landfill in Lenox Township, but wasn't able to locate her. Ashley's cousin, Taylor Redmond, hopes her family can eventually get some type of closure.
We want to be able to bury her like a human deserves to be laid to rest. And it's hard for me to come to terms with it. I know it's hard for her youngest son to come to terms with it because we're constantly asking ourselves, like, where is she?
Monica says her daughter loved her 2 boys, and this has been extremely hard on them.
The youngest boy is 7. He's autistic. So he's still asking her, like, if the phone rings, that my mom. If somebody comes to the door, is that my mom? So he doesn't understand yet.
Monica says despite how hard everything is, it's good to know she's not going through this alone.
Justice for Ashley! We love you! We love you!
In Roseville, Tierra Braddock, 7 News Detroit.
Thank you, Tierra. And while Ashley Elkins has never been found, police say forensic evidence tied to the missing mother has been found. Ashley's ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker, is in custody facing a charge of lying to a police officer. His bond set at $250,000. Legal expert and University of Detroit Mercy law professor Larry Dubin tells me that's more of a hold than anything else, as police work to put together strong evidence despite never finding Ashley to send over to the prosecutor's office for additional charges in what could be a lengthy legal process with never having found her.
And so while it may be tougher, it's not impossible to find someone guilty of murder without a body.
It is not impossible. It certainly can, depending on the lack of other evidence that would help to establish the crime. It makes it more difficult.
We'll, of course, be sure to bring you updates in this case. Meantime, Booker is due back in court next month.
Rest in peace, Ashley. I pray that your family find your body so they can have a respectful home going for you. I'm praying for your children. And yes, guys, all is well.